Squid Game, the Emmy-winning South Korean thriller, is back. The show, which went on to become Netflix's most-watched series of all time, had viewers on their toes. After waiting for 3 years, the fans will finally get to know what a red-haired Seong Gi-Hun planned to do. For those who don't know, the first season followed the life of Seong Gi-Hun, a laid-off worker and divorced father addicted to gambling. Seong Gi-Hun joined the Squid Game along with 455 other players in hopes of winning enough money to pay his debts. The players contested against each other in nostalgic childhood games such as marbles, tug-of-war, red light, green light, and more. But unlike the innocent games of childhood, in Squid Games, elimination spelled death. Pulling the strings were the ultra-rich, betting away on the players' lives. Against all odds, Seong Gi-Hun persevered and took home 45.6 billion won. However, the money couldn't wipe away the horrors he had endured. In the end, instead of getting on the flight to meet his daughter, he turned back with the determination to dismantle the system. So the story continues in the second season. The show is bloodthirsty and bone-chilling. But what if we told you it was inspired by real-life events? The show hinges on the dark impacts of a society governed by the rich. While talking to AFP, writer and director Wang Dong-hyuk revealed that the experiences of the main character were inspired by the violent Sanyong strikes. Let's tell you all about it. In 2009, Sanyong, a struggling car giant, was taken over by a group of banks and private investors. After the takeover, the company announced it was laying off nearly 40% of its workforce. The fate of more than 2,600 workers hung in the balance. This led to a 77-day strike that turned the factory ground into a battlefield. Strikers armed with slingshots and steel pipes clashed with riot police wielding rubber bullets and tasers as choppers hovered above them. Many union members were brutally beaten, leaving them with life-altering injuries. Several were thrown into jails, facing legal battles and financial ruin. Nearly 30 chose to end their lives, unable to cope with the stress. But the plight still didn't end. 5 years later, union leader Lee Chang-kun sat for 100 days on top of one of the factory's chimneys. He protested a court sentence that ruled in the favor of Sanyong Motors. During his protest, his supporters supplied him with food using a rope and basket. Lee Chang-kun experienced hallucinations of a tent rope transformed into a writhing snake. Recounting the horror, he told AFP, and I quote, "We were seen as incompetent breadwinners and outdated labor activists who had lost their minds. Police kept beating us even after we fell unconscious. This happened at our workplace and it was broadcast for so many to see." End quote. The echoes of these incidents can be heard in Squid Game, as the protagonist is a laid-off worker himself and all the contestants deal with crippling debt. They are willing to gamble away their lives just to put bread on the table. Show creator Wang Dong-hyuk said, and I quote, "I wanted to show that any ordinary middle-class person in the world we live in today can fall to the bottom of the economic ladder overnight." The Netflix hit paints an eerie picture of the economic divide and exploitative machinery. As the first season left viewers captivated with its raw commentary, will the second season live up to the expectations? Arzu Tawar for NDTV.